Thank you. You're welcome.
Merry Christmas, Dad.
No way! Oh, you're kidding me. Packer! Yes! Todd Packer, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, my nerds? Check it out.
All right, guys, you may know our next guest as that traveling salesman, Todd Packer from NBC's The Office. You may also know him as the fun-loving sportscaster Champ Kind from Anchorman.
Regardless of the character's hat he's wearing, actor and comedian David Koechner brings bold, brash, and unforgettable humor to all of his work. And joining us now, ahead of his performance at the stage at Santa Ana Star, is the one and only David Koechner.
Thanks you for having me.
We are so excited to have you on our show.
Very excited.
I am not at all like Todd Packer in real life. I just want you to know.
Promise?
Yeah.
Because we were nervous.
we called in extra, we called HR reinforcements in, just to be safe.
Destroy your set, start throwing things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe start a fire, you know, who knows. David, first thing that I want to ask, here in Albuquerque, we have a huge improv scene. We have a lot of stand-up comedy.
Oh, really? Okay, right on.
And I know a lot of people out there watching probably are saying, all right, we see where you are now. You know you came up through stand-up comedy, improv, you worked with Improv Olympics, Second City, big names. How did you get to where you are?
I started taking classes and getting on stage. That's really what it's all about. Get on stage.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to get better. You work that muscle. You know, there's a book called Outliers. If you've ever read Malcolm Gladwell, talks about a 10,000 hour theory. So the more you do a thing, the more proficient you become at that. I know a lot of people these days are getting famous just simply by doing vines.
Right.
Yes.
Or, you know, having a YouTube channel. But even those people probably put more time in doing a vine than most people do.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. You put the time in on anything, and either you have a certain special proclivity for that or you don't. I mean, because you can also bang your head against the pavement for 10 years, and it's like, you know, maybe this just isn't that thing. But so it's about dedicating some time to that thing.
Gotcha.
Like anything, like an athlete or a drifter.
The hours, or a drifter, the hours that you don't see going into the work that you're doing. Yeah.
And now we're both very big fans of The Office.
Thanks for saying
and
that.
And of course of Anchorman. So what's it like?
Soundman's just going crazy on this.
Can you hear it? What's it like working on The Office? How great was it?
The Office was a lot of fun.
Wobbly. It was so much fun.
A lot of fun.
Okay.
Great people. I've known Steve Carell for, I don't know, 20 some years. His wife and I were in a company.
Second City alum as well,
yes,
right?
He is. So I was there when Steve was there. His wife Nancy and I were in a company together. So I've known them a long time. And actually, that's how that came about. They were having trouble casting Todd Packer, and I happened to be in Canada shooting Snakes on a Plane. Thank you. It's kind of an art house film. And Steve said, "What about Koechner?" And so the next week I was done filming and came down, and there it was.
Wow, it's really just an indelible character on that show. You know, obviously some of the best moments, as we were saying to Dave before he sat down, we said, you know, we were having trouble putting that segment together because we were like, what can we show at 9 o'clock of Todd Packer?
Yes.
But very, very funny stuff. Now, because you come from improv, Steve Carell, Nancy Waltz, all improv actors. How much of that was really improv? How much of that was set down by the writers? Yeah.
Oh, that's all scripted.
That's
on
all
television.
Scripted.
You don't have room. You don't have room for improvisation on television because you've got 22 minutes.
Right.
So if I start improvising, that means somebody else's line goes away.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you think you might have an alternate line of dialogue for the line that's already there, then you can talk to the writers and producers and say, "Hey, man, how about this?"
Okay.
But by and large, you want to give, you know, people have worked for weeks writing something.
Right.
You don't want to pick it up and go, you know, I think I have a better way of doing it. Now, things are different. Like Anchorman, we improvised all the time. We'd shoot the scene first that was written, and then McKay would say, let's let the squirrel out of the bag, and then we'd improvise. And again, we're just improvising on alternative line of dialogue, not a wholesale new scene by and large. Sometimes we would, but it also adds to the chemistry, chemical makeup of that scene, because if you and I are acting, I'm listening. I know your line is almost over, and now I get to talk. That's what's going on in your head. But if you're improvising, you have to listen.
Right.
So I think it kind of increases the intensity of the performance because you're really engaged.
Yeah.
You have to be.
Yeah. And I mean,
kind of like what's going on here right now.
Yeah, we're here. I'm really into this right now.
You're doing improv. Look at this, Brittany.
Look at this
improv.
Okay, so Always Open. I love those little segments. You sat down and ate with people like Amy Poehler, Chris Pratt, Will Forte. Who was your favorite person to eat with?
Well, all of them had something special about them.
Did you pick
that's
a
a-
thing?
that's a
Because the
cruel
next question
trick.
I'm going to ask you
That's a cruel
is which
trick.
one of your 5 kids is your favorite? So this should be the easier one.
No, that's the easier.
Oh, that's easier. Oh, sorry, kids.
The youngest one, Eve,
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old is she?
4.
Okay.
There
we
you go.
both have 3-year-olds.
Have fun when
Oh,
you
you
go
do.
home, David.
Does it get better when they get past 3?
I say it gets better when they can learn to buckle their own safety seat.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yes, it gets
It's
better
not so
then.
much fun when they learn to unbuckle it. That's
Well,
the problem.
That's actually good too, because then you still don't have to go back in. And then
True.
if they unbuckle it, we're pulling over.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See, that threat doesn't phase my daughter. She's like, okay, pull over, Dad. Let's see what you got.
Do it.
Like,
Let's fight.
okay. So all of them were your favorite. Now, was this something always open? Was this something that you had the idea? Did someone come to you and say, let's produce this?
My good buddy Jerry Collins was working for a company that was in existence at the time called Dum Dum, which was run by Jason Bateman and Will Arnett. And so Jerry ran the company, and they had this concept. Denny's wanted to do something that raised awareness among millennials. And so their idea was just this kind of weird little 3-minute talk show that was about
Awesome.
nothing really. So we would have a meal, so you didn't know it was coming from the. We actually worked in a working Denny's.
Oh,
we
wow.
had 5 cameras. We'd just shoot, and then we'd come up with some questions that were more philosophical in nature. They weren't about promoting any product or their latest show. Stuff like, what did your childhood smell like? Everybody has an idea of what that is. So if I asked you, what would that be?
I want to say, the first thing that came to my mind was bacon.
Okay, and why bacon?
Or yeah, bacon, because my parents always cooked.
Okay.
Very good
Did you have
cooks.
bacon every morning?
Probably not. I don't think so.
Every once in a while, but that was a special treat. So you got something to
like-
jump off of, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And then so we'd have more questions and stuff like that. My
Yeah.
favorite was Andy Richter. We did this game where we had a Rorschach ketchup mustard plate. A Rorschach it's a psychological
Yeah.
test. Like, what do you see? So we put this plate down. It's got just ketchup mustard splattered on the thing.
Yes.
Andy looks at it, slaps me in the face, and says, "I told you that in secret."
Oh my God.
Richter,
That's awesome.
the best. He's one of the quickest minds I've ever.
Really? Wow, that's
I
great.
came
One
up
of
with.
my favorites was when you asked, I think it was Will Forte, to give the happiest face that he can give. And then you asked him to do a little bit more. Okay, will you give the happiest face that you can give?
The happiest face I
Yes.
can give? Yeah, okay.
Yes. If you need a camera, it's
All right.
this one right
This
here.
one?
Yes. Okay, now make it slightly happier. Yeah, I love it. This is great.
You think that's the top end? I got
I don't
more.
know. Do you have more? Come on, oh my
You can hurt
goodness.
yourself. You got a show tonight.
Wow, this is
This is the show.
beautiful. This is great. This is the show. So sorry.
Well, speaking of, David, want to say you're at the stage at the Santa Ana Star this evening for one
out
night
at the
show.
Star.
So tell us just briefly about your stand-up comedy. I mean, we obviously know you for all these great characters. As I was saying when you came in this morning, I remember you from the Naked Trucker and T-Bone show. Loved
Nice.
it. What is your stand-up comedy like? What can we expect to see?
Right? What's going to happen?
What are you going to do?
A whole lot of danger.
Whole lot of danger.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the edge. We don't know. Here's the thing. I have a set that I do. It's got observational humor. It's got stories. It's got characters. I'm adding this musical number using some local musicians tonight. I met this kid named Seth Hoffman, who's a Fulbright scholar in Wellington, New Zealand, when I was just over there, and he played for me. And he's from Albuquerque. I said, "Do you have any buddies that play?" And so he hooked me up with some local musicians here.
That's great.
So I'll close with 2 songs from the old Naked Trucker show.
That's great.
That I wasn't going to do, so I added those because I found these guys.
That's
so
fantastic.
That's
So
very cool.
it's
that's
kind
a
of like
Santa Ana.
it's kind of like a circus tent revival where a preacher and a carny barker are battling it out, and the tent's on fire, and it's on a 40-foot flatbed trailer going down the road at 80 miles an hour. That's what my show's like.
It's basically
great.
everything that you could ever want in a show.
Yes.
Pretty much. There you go. I think we're sold.
Hey,
We're
before
sold
we
at
get
home.
out, 2 truths and a lie.
2 truths and a lie. I'm having a great time.
Oh.
Now, did you think that was going to be the
I'm
lie?
nervous
Why would
now. Okay, keep going.
you? 2 truths. I'm having a great time. Everyone here at the station is wonderful, and I can't wait to leave.
Oh.
Oh. Well,
We'll let
that's,
you guys figure
we'll
that
let you
one out.
figure out. Anyway, guys, tonight, the Santa Ana Star, the stage at Santa Ana Star, the one, the only David Koechner. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
very
me.
much.
All right.